How did you get into this journey of being an entrepreneur?
So I started when I was 8.
Like, what was it about selling that had you interested?
I think it's more about serving people and making things easy for people.
You've been in the financial planning business for how long now?
Close to half a decade now.
Emmanuel, you have been an entrepreneur basically since you were 8 years old, just absolutely lighting the world on fire. So, number one, I want to really appreciate you for joining me on the Best of White Rock today. I want to get into that story a little bit. I want to learn all about that. And I really want to introduce you to the community because when we did our pre interview phone call, you had such awesome, not only energy, but I really loved your philosophy behind business and also just generally how you help people. What do you do? Like, let's tell the world what you do to begin with, and we'll kind of take it from there.
So I'm a financial advisor. I started financial advisory for about half a decade now. But before this, I can tell a story about how I moved here if you want me to talk about that too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, how did you get into this journey of being an entrepreneur? It's not for the weak of heart by any
Yes.
means.
So I started when I was 8. My mom owned a corner store back in Nigeria, right? So then I used to manage my mom's corner store, and I sold like cold beverages and snacks and candies to like kids, and I see them like super excited. So it gives me like joy to like serve people, right? So when I was a kid, I started entrepreneurship, and then from there I went to school. My mom started helping my dad with with his business. So my dad is a plumber. No, he sells plumbing materials,
Okay.
right? Like those pipes and pumps and all those beautiful things back home. And I do help. I went to go help my dad in his store for a while, like learn the business and see how I can also like support the business. I was with my dad for a while, and then when I went to university, I also started another business, my own business. I started selling clothes I started selling clothes in my shared apartment,
Okay.
because I shared a room with a buddy of mine back in school. So I go to all the way to Lagos State. It's a bit like 4 or 5 hours from where my school is. I get clothes from there, and then I sell to my friends. Right.
So entrepreneurship's like in the blood from the very beginning.
Yeah. So I've been selling since I was a kid.
What got you interested in selling? Like, what was it about selling that had you interested in it?
I think it's more about serving people and making things easy for people. Because some people are kind of like, I wouldn't say lazy, but they don't want to like do the hustle of getting things. But I'm always there to like serve people. Like, yes, you cannot get this clothes or you cannot get this t-shirts, but I can do the old hustle, go back down to Lagos State and like get those clothes, and like, so they can easily get it for, not for free, but at least way more easier for them, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So did you have like an influence in selling that kind of got you interested in that, or was it just being exposed to the experience? Like, what was it about that?
I think it was more my dad, because my dad owns a business from when I was a child. So I always see my dad goes to his business. I see my dad like having so much customers and clients. And at the end of the year, my dad does like a mini party for his clients too. He served them like food and stuff like that. Everyone is happy and they always want to support my dad. So I feel like that helped my mindset to change into be, instead of working a 9 to 5 or a regular job, I just want to build something for myself. I want to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was it like? There was a bug that I guess bit you at some point that was, these people are coming back to you and they're really liking whether you're selling them candy or
Yeah.
drinks or
Yeah.
or they're helping them get dressed up all nice so they look good, which isn't an easy thing to do, right? Like people get fashion and people don't. It's
Yeah.
very clear we just see it. Yeah. So do you have some experiences like as you were coming up that you were like, this is for me?
Um, Honestly, I think it's just me myself, like the way I kind of viewed things. I knew I would want to be an entrepreneur. I wanted something, I needed freedom. I want something where I can go to my work and serve people, but not restricted, like where I have to be at that work for every day, like 9 to 5, or like Monday to Friday. I want to be flexible. So I want to serve people, and I also be have time for myself and have time for my families too.
Yeah, because you got a young family at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so your wife is from a different country. You're from a different country.
Yeah.
And fast forward, now you're in White Rock, right?
Yeah.
Living in White Rock, and you were previously downtown.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was it about White Rock that really attracted you?
I think it's more family oriented and I love the place. It's more peaceful compared to like downtown. And people are way nicer to you.
You hear that, don't you?
Yeah.
You do hear that about White Rock.
Yeah. Yesterday I was just walking down the street with my wife and my son. And there was this dude across the street, like on top. He's just like, "Hey, how are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good. How are you?" And then it's beautiful seeing people on the street just talk to you, trying to make friends with you.
Yeah.
I don't think you get that. That's in downtown.
Well, it's totally said that there's this beach vibe here, and obviously we're beside the beach, right?
Yeah.
But like there is something about the pace of life, maybe the more relaxed kind of outlook on life that a lot of people have, and maybe it's one of those special places where time maybe moves a little slower too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you hear that about White Rock quite often. We have another YouTube channel dedicated to our real estate business about living in South Surrey and White Rock. And I hear that comment all the time from people when we interview them about what they love about the area. Just how friendly everybody is and how slow it seems to move everywhere else. And it's that, I guess, beach time or whatever you want to call it, right?
It's true.
So fast forward, you come into White Rock and you've been in the financial planning business for how long now?
Close to half a decade now. Half a decade in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it attracted you to financial planning?
Before that, I did accounting. I did my CPA back home. So I'm an accountant back home.
Okay.
So I love numbers, right? I love seeing those big numbers, millions of dollars. So I think that's what attracted me into financial advisory. So for me, moving down here like 6 years, 7 years ago, I need to take my CPA over again. And that's probably gonna take me about 4 years, I guess. So I found a course where I can take financial advisory or where I can be a financial advisor in less than a year. I can get my license and I can practice. So me being a guy who love numbers, who love my freedom and who want to be an entrepreneur, that's what got me into being financial advisor.
And how does it, like, having that kind of tool in your toolkit where so many other people wouldn't have that, right? Like, so a lot of people in your industry wouldn't have that CPA background.
Yeah.
Now, and like stuff doesn't always carry over to Canada or even provincially, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's differences, all that. But just having that tool in your toolkit, does that make you stand out amongst your peers in many ways?
Yeah, because before this, I used to help people like file taxes, and I do my own personal tax. So I kind of have an idea about like tax and how the tax system works. And also with financial advisory mix, there's also some tax advantage accounts you can have for yourself, which can help you reduce tax or save on taxes or help you transfer wealth in a tax-free way.
Okay.
So I think it helps me stand out because if I have a client and they're struggling to file their tax, I can put them through, but that's not what I actually do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like a bonus,
Yeah. Well, and you had some stories when we first chatted about really putting people in good situations because like what financial planners do, I don't think maybe people quite understand the full breadth of what they're able to do.
Yeah.
Certainly better from your mouth than mine, but give me an example of like some of the things you can do for people.
So I help people set up if it's I do a lot of things on the financial industry. So if it's based on investments, like when it comes to investments, I help people in the investment field. There's actually a stat which says two in 10 people or 2 in 10 Canadians don't know what a TFSA is.
Wow.
And that's a huge number, right? Yes, a TFSA is a tax-free saving account, right? But not everyone actually knows how to use it or use it properly, right? So I help people with investments. So investment vehicles like the RESP, RRSP, all those retirement savings. I help people plan for get an insurance like a mortgage insurance or personal life insurance, for example, too, which can also be a tool for people to retire in a more tax-free way.
Yeah, and I'd like you to touch on that a little bit because I feel that generally speaking, I feel like most people understand you can help them with the investment side, and that kind of is an investment, but it's also a way of obviously protecting your family.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, in my experience anyways, don't probably understand it, nor do they even know to explore it because they just don't even know it exists. Can you unpack that a bit?
So when it comes to insurance, most people always think insurance is when you die. But I always tell my clients it's not about that. You can also have what's called cash value.
Okay.
Right? So the cash value is where you can take out money from your policy and fund your next business project or fund your education. So insurance is not a one size fit all, but like a 25-year-old guy who's single, his plan is gonna be different from a 45-year-old who has like three kids, who owns his first home, and so it's different. It varies, right?
Right.
But when it comes to insurance, when you're planning for your kid to like go to school, or you want your kid to have this amount of money for their next business when they turn 20, insurance can help play an important role for that. It can help your kid fund that. Like I recently have a client about 2 weeks ago, and I mean, she's not super wealthy, but she puts in $150 in a policy, in the kid's policy. The kid is barely 1 years old. So when the kid turned 20, she's gonna have about 70K in the policy. And that's retirement. If the kid doesn't save or plan for a retirement, she has over 700K there.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
Which is a big investment tool, right? Because it's just a 20-year contribution, but with the compound interest, everything just doubles and multiplies.
Yeah, one of the wonders of the world. I can't remember, it was the seventh wonder. Seventh, yeah, and it is so true. And for the people that don't understand, like getting into the compound interest game at a young age, you've got kids, I've got kids, getting them involved in that, and even understanding it, because a lot of them don't even understand it to begin with, right? But allowing time just to do its thing. It's kind of that old guy from the infomercials saying, "Set it and forget." Right? Just let it run, and it's incredible what it can do over time.
Yeah.
So do you have like any stories where people had come to you and they maybe were out of options, or they were so unaware of what your world was and what it could do for them, and the investing piece aside, you got in, or you helped them, and maybe something happened where they were like, wow, like, you saved me from a rainy day, a really bad day, or whatever that. Do you have any, like, kind of, I call them hero stories?
Yes, I do. One of my hero story would be a client I helped about 3 months ago.
Okay.
So she's a single mom of four. She moved into Canada like 10 years. And when she moved in, she got a restaurant. She owned a restaurant business. She ran the restaurant for about, I think, 4 to 5 years. And then she went bankrupt. So the guy who helped her file for bankruptcy, I think, didn't do it properly. Anyway, she owes a 30K debt. And when she met me, or when I met her, we talked about like, okay, how can we reduce this debt? How can we clear this debt? I talked to Ciara, and then I was able to like help her like clear the debts, the 30K debt. And then she can have more money to save for her retirement and plan it. So she was able to like I was able to like go over like her finances, know what her dreams and goals were, and what's more important to her, because she want to save money or have money for her kids if she passed away.
Sure.
Right. So I helped her set up a plan, like an insurance plan, where if she passed away, the kids are gonna have this money to help with the funeral and all those kind of things. And now she has also an emergency fund where she can also save for her own self as well, right? But one thing I really love about this client is, before we met, she was someone who wasn't ahead, right? She felt like there was no one who understood her. But when I was able to like break down things in like simpler terms, she was like, honestly, I think this is the first time I'm being heard, and the first time I feel like my finances are like way better compared to like 10 years ago when I moved here. And I feel like a lot of Canadians and a lot of immigrants like myself, like we don't actually know how to invest or what vehicle or where to put our money, and we're not like financially literate.
Right.
And that's one big thing I usually do to help my clients understand the principle of finance, and also buzz down and drill into their dreams and goals and how I can help them and their families.
How do you think that made her feel? That's a really powerful comment.
Yeah, she felt relieved. She felt so happy. And right now, not having the 30K debts, it's amazing. Yeah,
that's not bad, right?
yeah. So yeah. But that's why I love serving people and I love doing what I do, because it's a different game where people view financial literacy or financial advice as like you need to have a lot of money for you to see one. But honestly, you need to see one before you even have money so you can understand what's the right vehicle, the right process for you to get out of the debt or the child loan or the student loan or every other like debt you might have, or the right investment vehicle you can also like have for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do you think it was about you that was different for her than what she'd be getting somewhere else? Because from what I'm hearing, you were really there to listen and to really explain and to really help solve a problem that maybe even at the time she didn't know that she had. Why do you think not everybody does that?
Okay, you said the question is why am I different from everyone?
Yeah.
I think one thing I'm different is as an immigrant, I get to understand how things work back home, and I guess it's also like different from it's also similar to most countries, and also getting to understand people and also going to their dreams and goals. I feel like not a lot of financial advisors might take the time to understand clients and where they're coming from, right? Like, what does money mean to you? How do you view money? And that's one thing I really do for my clients. Oh, what does this mean to you? Or what are you trying to save for? Right? In 10 years from now, what do you want to have? In 5 years from now, what do you expect to have? So those are the things I really ask my clients and know what's okay, this is what you need, this is what's gonna serve you, and this is what's gonna work for you. You stick to this plan for the next 5 to 10 years, you're gonna have this and this. Yeah,
It's that golden rule of like treating people how you would want to be treated.
of course.
And just listening, right? Like at the end of the day, whether you're in sales, like I'm in sales as well, right? Selling residential real estate. Like when people are listened to and you're a problem solver, not a problem pusher, right? It's kind of a different way of looking at it, but you're listening and you're saying, well, how can I help this person? How can I get, and sometimes we think the answers are easy, but they're not always easy, right? Everyone's got their reasons for doing things. And when you create a solution for that lady, as an example, what could have would have happened, like if she had if she was to pass? What might happen to her family?
Yeah.
Right? It's terrible. And I mean, that's, you don't want to sell the fear,
Yeah.
but you also have to sell the realities a little bit too, right? That is totally what can happen. So I want to kind of pivot a little bit here and chat about your business.
Okay.
And being an entrepreneur is not for the weak of heart.
No.
And there's so many things about every business that are unique to the business, the industry, that sort of thing. I'm curious for you, what's one of the biggest challenges that you face?
I think for all businesses, there would always be a challenge, right? For my business, I think one challenge would be when it comes to money, people always think money is a taboo, right? They don't want to talk about money.
Right.
There's a lot of people struggling with money, and I don't mean this in the wrong way. I mean, there's a lot of people who probably need help, and but when it comes to like talking about money, people don't want to open up, right? People feel like closed. Look, it's something I shouldn't talk about. It's my own problem. And I have this app, Reddit. I read a lot about people complaining and talking about like financial situations. You can be like a ghost, whatever. Like you don't have to put yourself there, like your name there, so you can just text and whatever. So I read some of those Reddit stories, and it got me thinking, like, yeah, there's a lot of people actually in Canada who are like struggling financially, right? And that's where I come into place to help people. Like, yes, I know we're struggling, or you have this thing going on, but there's always a way out. People feel like there's no way out, and there's no one there to help them.
Yeah.
Right. But there's always someone to help you.
Yeah, well, and help people make a plan. Like we spend more time. There's a saying, like most people spend more time planning a wedding than they do their entire life.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so true. And even with finances, just sitting down with somebody like you and saying, this is where my money is coming from. This is where my money is going. What kind of plan can what can I do?
Yeah.
And saying, well, you're certainly spending a lot of money over here. It's like the joke is like you've got the brand new iPhone when you say you've got no money, right? And not that people don't deserve to have nice things, but it's just, different people spend their money on different things. Yeah. I know for yourself and for myself, when I became a parent, it was like, the focus certainly comes off you. And it's like, well, now I've got to protect these little lets, right? Because, life happens, right? And hopefully you and I don't become statistics, but the statistics exist for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. If you could grab somebody by the shoulders and say, there's one thing I could teach you, one thing that I wish everybody knew about what I do or how I could help you, what would that be?
I guess it would be more about understanding insurance, to be honest. There's a statistics which says 1 in 3 mortgage claims are denied. So what does that mean? Like if I lend you $1 million, for example, and I tell you to get a mortgage insurance, do you think I would protect you or I'll protect myself? Of course, I want to protect myself because I gave you money, right? So the mortgage insurance, in a way, it's more of like the bank protecting themselves. So you can get a personal life insurance to protect you, or you can get a term insurance to protect you. So in case anything happens, your house is protected, your kids or your family gets the property.
Right.
Right. I wish a lot of people understand that. And I wish a lot of people and businesses understand how they can save on taxes too. Right. Because a lot of business, they pay themselves salary, right? You can pay yourself in 2 ways, salary or you can pay a dividend, right? Dividend is a little bit less on taxes, but you still get to pay taxes. But you can have a permanent life insurance policy for your business and take out money tax free. So it's like you paying yourself, but you're not paying tax to the government. And tax is a big thing in this part of the world. I don't think anyone want to pay taxes too.
Well, and you were talking about like money being a taboo thing, and it is such a taboo thing in the Canadian culture and whatnot. And paying taxes or saying like that you're not gonna, there's ways of not paying taxes almost has become a little bit taboo too. And I'm curious on your perspective on this, because what I've learned is, the tax code is created for a reason, and it's not about avoiding tax. It's about just not paying more than it's designed for you to pay. Right? There's vehicles that exist, and the government loves these life insurance policies because it means somebody's actually being taken care of down the road, and rather than them having to do it. Right? Like when you explain that to people, and when they start to see that they could have something like a whole life policy, as you're talking about, where do they normally go? Like what's going on in their head at that time?
Um, I guess when I talk to people, the way I explain things to them, I break down things in a more simpler term.
Okay.
Right? So I break things in a more in simpler terms so they can know how they can have access to this money from their policy. And also when it comes to like having an whole life or universal life policy, what I do with my clients is I always have yearly reviews. Like 6 months down the road, I want to show you how much money you've saved up in your policy, or a year down the road, I want to show you how much you've saved out to your policy. And I think going over like reviews with clients also helps them like, okay, this is what I have, this is what my family's gonna have in the few years from now. And if I want to retire or I want to take money out for my business or for my own personal self, like I can have this money tax free, right? And I think not a lot of people do this with their clients. Some people just sell the policy and then there's nowhere to be found, right? But for me, I always go over this. I always text my clients. I always call them and like put them through, because it's gonna be like a client for life. You don't know what's gonna happen down the future, but yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say if you could summarize feedback from your clients, or maybe it's Google reviews or whatever that might be? What do you find is like the number one piece of feedback that you get from people?
It would be people love my energy.
You have great energy. You have great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about what I do because we live in a world where not a lot of people care, or people feel like a lot of people don't actually care. And I do care about my clients. I do care about their goals, their dreams, and what's their plan, right? So I help them to achieve their financial goal. I just help clients. I tell people I'm just a guy here who educates you and give you the right tool so you can make a better financial decision, right? But yeah, I get a lot of that, and I get people telling me I'm funny too.
That helps, right? If you're fun to hang out with, it always works out well too.
Yeah.
What how do you meet most of your people? Like how do people come into your world? How do they find you, and how do they source you out, sort of thing?
I do a lot of Instagram posts, so you can reach me out on Instagram. It's EMMY_OHANA.
Okay. And we'll make sure any of your contact information is like in the show notes and stuff like that for people to be able to track you down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you my contact.
Sure.
604-771-6215. You can always call, text, and yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, I that felt like we're wrapping up here. I'm not quite ready to let you free at first. It's a beautiful sunny day outside, and you're probably ready to go start your weekend here. But what I wanted to really understand from you as well. So, you've been in sales almost your entire life, been an entrepreneur almost your entire life, and you kind of navigated into this world of financial planning for the last decade or half decade sort of thing, and you've helped a lot of people. What's your favorite part of doing what you do? Like, what keeps you going?
Honestly, it changes every time.
The changes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think at first it's more about serving people who are like seeing if I can do this. I did a lot of businesses back home, like clothes. I sold puppies. I sold fish.
Yeah.
And I helped my dad. But I think for now, what keeps me going would be my family, right?
Love that.
My wife, my kids,
Yeah.
and
Both out of love and necessity, right?
yeah, they're just everything to me.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, you know what? I really want to appreciate you being on the Best of White Rock. You know, you do have such a great energy, and you know the idea that you listen to people, which is not only a skill that a lot of people don't have now, but it's something that people deserve, but they often don't get.
Yeah.
They don't find it in everybody. And when you can really understand what their goals are and the real kind of underlying reasons on why they're doing what they're doing, and find a solution for them like you do, not only do you got clients for life, but you're really setting those people up for really incredible future success. If there was any closing remarks that you felt like everybody should know, what would you like to say to the world?
I would say, for me, I believe in God, and I believe everything comes from God. And with God, all things are possible. And yes, my business, my life, and everything I do is one of my core value. And I always value my clients who also have the same aligned values with me. It doesn't matter if you're a Muslim or a Christian, but we all serve the same God, right?
I love that.
And yeah.
That's great. Okay, so anybody out there, they're watching this, they need help with investing, they need help consolidating, they need help learning about insurance and also how that might be a vehicle for wealth.
Yeah.
You're the guy to call.
Yes, sir.
All right. Emmanuel, it was such a pleasure to have you on the
Thank
show.
you so much for having me.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks so much. And
Thanks.
everybody, all your information will be down in the show notes as well.
Okay.
All right, let's go enjoy that sunny day.
Thank you.
All right, cheers.